Your wife doesn't know your real name. Neither do your children. You've lived in this house for 11 years. You coach your son's football team. You argue with your neighbor about his fence. You have a job, a mortgage, a favorite chair. Everyone on this quiet street would swear they know exactly who you are. They're all wrong. The man they know was invented in a room a long way from here. Your accent, your memories, your childhood stories, every one of them is a fiction you've recited so many times that even you have started to believe them. The only people on earth who know the truth are handlers you haven't spoken to in years, in a country you can no longer quite remember as home. You are a deep cover spy, not the kind from the films. The kind who wins a war by living an entire fake life so perfectly that no one ever suspects there was a war at all. This is what it's like, from the day they erase you to the day the lie finally ends. They don't recruit deep cover officers from a crowd. They search for a very particular kind of person, and that person is almost never the one who wants the job. They're not looking for the brave one or the strong one. They're looking for the one who can become someone else and never crack. The one who can hold a lie for decades. The one with the rare, unsettling ability to bury their own identity so deep that it stops surfacing even in their dreams. Maybe you came up through intelligence and showed an unusual talent for blending in. Maybe a recruiter noticed you could walk into any room and instantly become whoever that room expected. Whatever it was, they saw it, the gift, and the emptiness underneath it that lets a person set themselves aside. The interviews are endless, they probe everything. Could you leave your family for years? Could you betray a friend if the mission required it? Could you live every single day as a person who doesn't exist and never slip, not once, for the rest of your life? You say yes to all of it. You don't yet understand that you're agreeing to disappear. Before they can build your new identity, they have to take apart your old one. This is the strangest training in the entire intelligence world, because it isn't really training, it's a slow erasure of self. For months they peel away the things that make you, your accent gets reshaped. Your handwriting changes. The little gestures you've made your whole life, the way you hold a cup, the way you stand when you're nervous, all of it gets noticed, cataloged, and rebuilt to match the person you're about to become. Then they give you a legend, a complete, fictional life. A name, a birthplace, parents who never existed. A childhood you have to learn, like an actor learns a role, except this role never ends, and there's no audience to applaud, only enemies waiting for a single wrong line. You memorize your fake history until it's more real to you than your actual one. You learn the streets of a hometown you've never seen. You learn the slang, the songs, the television shows a person your age would have grown up with. You learn to react to your new name as instantly and naturally as you once reacted to your real one. By the end, the unsettling truth sets in. You can no longer quite feel where the real you ends and the invented one begins. That's not a failure of the training. That's the point of it. They place you in the target country, and now the real work begins. The work of simply existing, convincingly, for years. There's no mission yet. No secrets to steal, no one to recruit. Your only job at first is to become real. To build a life so ordinary and so verifiable that no one will ever think to question it. You get a small apartment, a modest job. You shop at the same market. You become a regular, forgettable face in an ordinary neighborhood. This is the loneliest phase and the most dangerous because nothing is happening, and the temptation to slip, to relax, to be yourself for just one moment is constant. But there is no yourself anymore. There's only the legend. If you ever let the mask drop, even alone, even for a second, you risk the habit of it showing through at the worst possible time. You do this for years. You build friendships that are real to the other people, and tools to you. You establish yourself so deeply into the fabric of an ordinary life that you become invisible the best way of all, by being completely, boringly, normal. And all the while, you're getting closer to the places and people that matter. Slowly, patiently, the way a deep cover officer does everything. Then you do the thing that separates deep cover from every other kind of spying. You build a real life inside the fake one. You marry. You have children. And here's the cruelty at the heart of this work. The love is real, but the foundation is a lie. Your spouse fell in love with a person who doesn't exist. Your children carry the name of a man who was invented in a briefing room. They are real. Your love for them is real. And every single day you lie to them about the most basic fact of who you are. This is the perfect cover, and intelligence services know it. A single man traveling alone is suspicious. A devoted family man, a parent at the school gate, a husband mowing his lawn on Sunday. He is beyond suspicion. Your family, who know nothing, are the strongest part of your disguise. You are using the people you love most as camouflage, and they will never know. You lie awake some nights and feel the weight of it. The person sleeping beside you would be shattered if they ever learned the truth. The children who call you a name that isn't yours. You tell yourself it's for a greater cause. Some nights you believe it. Some nights you stare at the ceiling and wonder what kind of man builds a family on a foundation of fiction. But the mission requires it, so you live it. Year after year after year. For years you are a sleeper, a seed planted and left to grow, waiting. Then, finally, the call comes. You're activated. Now the life you spent a decade building becomes a platform. The friendships you cultivated, the position you established, the trust you accumulated, all of it was for this. You have access now to things a newly arrived spy could never reach. Rooms, people, information, all open to you by a decade of being the trustworthy, ordinary man everyone knows. You begin the actual work, gathering, watching, perhaps recruiting others, gently, the way you were once recruited. Everything you send home flows through channels designed to vanish, encrypted and bounced across the world before anyone reads it. But activation is also when the danger multiplies. A sleeper doing nothing is almost impossible to catch. An active spy leaves traces, meetings, messages, patterns. The very moment you become useful is the moment you become catchable. The decade of safety is over. Now every day carries risk. You manage it the way you've managed everything, carefully, patiently, never rushing, never greedy. You've waited 10 years. You can afford to be slow. Slow is how deep cover officers stay alive. It comes for every long-term officer eventually, the moment it almost ends. Maybe a counterintelligence team starts pulling a thread. Maybe a defector somewhere mentions a program like yours. Maybe a single small inconsistency in your decade-old legend finally gets noticed by the wrong person. Suddenly there are eyes on you, subtle at first, then less so. A car that lingers. A new neighbor who asks too many friendly questions. A colleague who seems a little too interested in your past. This is the test of everything you are. Run, and you confirm your guilt and abandon the family who'd be left to face the wreckage. Stay, and you gamble that your legend, built and rehearsed for a decade, can survive the most intense scrutiny of your life. You stay. You become, if anything, more yourself, more ordinary, more boring, more exactly the man you've always pretended to be. You let them watch. You let them check. And the legend holds, because you built it to hold, because you've lived it so completely that there are no seams left to find. The eyes eventually drift away. You survive. But something has changed. You know now, in a way you only suspected before, that the end is always out there, waiting, and you'll never feel truly safe again. Years more pass. You become too valuable and too exposed to keep running operations yourself. So you take on a new role. You run others. Now you're the one in the shadows, managing the deep cover officers who come after you. You understand them as no one else can, because you've lived exactly what they're living. You know the loneliness of the sleeper years. You know the weight of a family built on a lie. You know the cold terror of the near miss. You guide them through all of it. You become a keeper of secrets on the scale you never imagined. You hold the true identities of people who buried themselves so deep that even they are forgetting who they are. You make the impossible decisions, when to activate someone, when to pull them out, when to leave them in place even as the danger rises, because the mission needs them there. It's a quieter life, but a heavier one. The weight is no longer just your own lie. It's everyone's. And when one of your officers is caught, and eventually one always is, you carry that too. You sent them, you guided them, and there is nothing you could do but watch from a world away as their fiction finally collapsed. After decades, it ends. Sometimes the way no one expects, you simply go home. But there is no home anymore. The country you left is unrecognizable. You've been gone so long that you're a foreigner in your own birthplace. The real name they give you back feels like a stranger's. You spent so many years being someone else that the someone else is who you actually are now. The legend won. The real you lost a long time ago without you ever noticing the moment it happened. The family, if you had one in the field, is the hardest part. Either you left them behind with a lie about where you've gone, or the truth came out and shattered everything they believed about their own lives. Children who learned that their father was never who they thought. A spouse who has to reassemble an entire life around the knowledge that none of it was true. You're given a quiet retirement in a country that can never publicly thank you for a war you fought by living an entire fake life within human discipline. There's no medal you can show, no story you can tell, just decades of being no one and the strange grief of getting your real name back and finding that it no longer fits. That was the trade. That was always the trade. Somewhere tonight, in an ordinary city, there's a young person with an unusual gift, the ability to walk into any room and instantly become whoever that room expects. They don't even know they're doing it. It just comes naturally. Someone is watching them. Someone always is. Someone who recognizes the rare, unsettling talent for setting yourself aside, and the quiet emptiness underneath it that makes the talent possible. Soon there will be a conversation, a series of strange questions, an offer to serve a country in a way almost no one ever can. They'll imagine something glamorous, the films, the intrigue, the secret thrill of it. They have no idea they're being asked to disappear, to trade their entire self for a fiction, to build a real family on a lie, and use the people they love as camouflage, to get their own name back one day and find it belongs to a stranger. But they'll learn, they always do, and the cycle begins again.